Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that help you create beautiful projects from start to finish with easy to follow guides. Okay, so I think I shared it to my classroom and stuff. So earlier this month, I started a new segment, I guess we'll call it, and it was called Chat with Chris. So today, this week between Christmas and New Year's, I find that everybody starts to think about. Sorry, I've got something flashing here in the background. Just let me move it out of the way here. Everybody starts to think about. So, for example, I set my business goals for the year. I set my personal goals for the year. Some of them are super stretch goals for my business or for my personal life, all those things. So I think that sometimes you forget that it's still important to add like a crafty goal. So let's just talk for a few minutes about how to include that and why you might want to do something like that, like some of those things. So every year, like I said, I get a new planner. You guys know. Oh, here comes Emmy. I get a new planner for my year, and I like to work backwards, right? So I have a planner every month, and then I have a notebook where I have like my goals, my ideas, my inspiration, all those things. So, like I said, I like to work backwards. So, when I set a goal, then I can kind of break it down so I don't have to do like that whole goal in 1 month. But after like the last year I think we've had in the world, I think that it's super important to also include some crafty goals in there or creative goals, things like that, so that you remember to take time for yourself. And remember that doing all those creative things and using different parts of your brain is all like super good. So if you guys have a crafty goal for 2022, I would love to hear it. Whether it's I want to pull a project back out of the closet that I haven't touched in 2 years, or if it's I want to burn through my stash, or if it's I want to get photos on uncompleted pages, or if it's I want to learn a new technique a month. Like there's so many great goals for the creative or crafty side of your life that sometimes, like I said, when we sit down between this week, during this time of year, which typically is this week between Christmas and New Year's, I think lots of times we forget about things like that. So, like I said, pick a goal. I would love to hear what they are. You can add them in the comments below, and then make a plan. So I'm a big person for reverse planning. So like, let's say we'll just say I wanted to complete 6 albums this year. Then I would think, okay, so if I want to complete 6 albums this year, then I'm going to divide it up over 12 months and then split it up. So I'm doing half an album a month. And then, so how am I going to do that? Working backwards. I'm going to need to do X amount of pages a month. So a few every weekend. And when you break it down backwards like that, the goal gets so much smaller and easier to obtain. So then at the end of the year, you would have 6 albums done, doing 2 pages even a weekend. And if you can't do 2 pages that weekend, then you could do 4 pages the next weekend. And don't get discouraged, because any progress forward is more pages in your albums or more completed cards, or just having time by yourself or with somebody else to get creative, which is so important. And then, so set a goal, make a plan, and then the third thing would be find a friend to craft with. So in business, I know lots of times we have like accountability partners or somebody to push us along the way. The same thing can be applied to crafting, right? So if you can't get together with people, which is still the reality in so many parts of the world, including here, then make a plan and FaceTime and craft together, or go into Zoom with a group of friends that you used to craft with, or find an online workshop crop to attend. I used to host, for example, in-person events once a month, and everybody came and got to be creative together. And I think that it was super awesome, right? It was everybody shared ideas with each other. Everybody, we ate together. And I mean, that's just not a reality right now. But so then you need to figure out a different way to make that happen. There's tons of opportunities out there. Our world messenger rooms are great. Absolutely. Yeah. So you could do it lots of ways. You can Skype, for heaven's sakes, together, right? I think that one of the amazing things that has happened in the last 2 years is it's made it so much easier to actually virtually craft or converse or visit with friends or crafty people or family, right? We have become so much better at learning online and spending time online. And I know that it's like not ideal for sure, but it's an option and it kind of fulfills that part of getting crafty together, right? So that's really just kind of what I wanted to talk about today. If you guys have crafty goals, I would love to hear them, because for sure it also helps me in planning stuff for my page, right? So like I have big, huge goals that I don't know if they'll come true or not, but I chip away at them. Some of them stay the same every year, some of them change. And just because my job is crafty doesn't mean that I don't have crafty goals on top of that. Mine just might be slightly different. They're not maybe to create X amount of pages or scrapbook X amount of photos. They might be as simple as organizing my photos a little bit better, or I'm taking an online course to learn a new creative program, things like that. So just because my crafty goals might be slightly different than yours, because I craft as a profession, doesn't mean that I don't also have those crafty goals. But like I said, I would love to hear what your crafty goals are. So, waiting to get my 2019 UK trip done. Messenger room crops have been great this year. I know, exactly, right? So, and sometimes I think, like I always, when somebody asks me a question about like getting started in scrapbooking too, I always have said one of the best ways to actually start scrapbooking is to pick something that means a lot to you. So a trip is like a great example of that. So anybody that's been on a trip, maybe not recently, but all those things, it's like got a start and a finish to it. So to create an album for a trip is a great way to start, or a great way to introduce somebody to scrapbooking, because it's got a beginning and it's got an end. And so it doesn't just keep going on forever. I don't know if that makes sense. Or even if you have like heritage photos of your family and you want to document that for the next generation, right? You only have so many photographs. So the project has a start and a finish. So it's a little bit easier to feel accomplished at the end versus if you just jump in and you say, okay, I need to scrapbook the last 20 years of my life. That is a huge project, right? So if you can break it down a little bit to make it more achievable and actually be able to get it done, then you feel accomplished along the way, and it's nice, right? So it's not just this big, huge stretch goal, but little bits along the way, right? Same thing as, well, if I want to create 6 albums, how do I do that over the course of the year? Well, I'll break it down into little bits along the way. So it's the same thing I do with my business goals, right? So yeah, that's what I thought I would chat about today. My chat earlier, I have another one that I did earlier in December where I talked about like what are workshop guides, because you guys hear me come on and say it every single time I do a video. So that's where I went for the first one, and I'm not sure if they're going to be like a regular scheduled thing or just kind of when something comes to me. I have like a list of things that you guys ask questions about and things like that, so I can break them down into chats with Chris. So like I said, that's one thing, right? That's a goal. I wanted to come on and do a little bit more of interactive communication, or talking, I guess is me talking. So that was a super easy way to do it. I have been scrapbooking since 2001, and I've been in the scrapbooking industry a few years after that. So I've got little bits and pieces of knowledge to share along the way. And so if you guys have questions or things you'd like me to chat about, for sure add them to the comments. But I would love to hear some of your crafty goals, because that also then in turn helps me figure out how to help you guys. So I hope everybody had an awesome holiday and is kind of enjoying this little reprieve that we get between the 2 weekends, which was super weird. But like I said, the week between Christmas and New Year's, I think lots of people sit down and they think about things that they want to do over the course of the next year, reflect on the year that we just had. And photographs are a great way to do that also, right? So when you look back at the photos that you've taken over the course of the last year, it helps you re-experience all the good things that happened in the course of the last year, which I think we need to also remember. So, like I said, I just wanted to pop on and remind you not to forget about crafty or creative goals for the next year. And we'll talk to you later, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.